sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Hey, South Jersey, this is Billy Schwein. Tune into The Locker Room every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. Each weekend in The Locker Room, you will get passionate sports talk from a fan's perspective, along with interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. That's every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in The Locker Room with me, Billy Schwein, on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennick.
It's good!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hennig.
Back from a busy weekend, Josh Hennig is here, 97.3 ESPN. Phillies are at the All-Star break. Eagles back in the news thanks to, shall we call it, hot take artists or people who just disrespect Jalen Hurts. However we want to describe it, all that and more this hour here on 97.3 ESPN. As always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. We'll start with the Phillies because, the state of the team of the All-Star break is an interesting conversation. And I feel like we could do another 4 hours on just the Phillies, but we're going to try to squeeze in as much as we can this hour. I think there's three big takeaways from the Phillies at the All-Star break. At least for me, there is. And I'll acknowledge the most obvious one for all of you guys out there. The number one most obvious takeaway from the weekend was the fact that you got to see why a guy like Brent Rooker is going to get traded. Now, whether he gets traded to Philadelphia, I'm not 100% sure. I'll get to that in a sec. But it's clearly obvious that this guy would make a lot of sense for the Phillies lineup. And you saw this weekend why the Phillies need one more arm, why they need one more bat. Because you lost to the A's 2 out of 3 games. You swept the Dodgers, one of the best teams in baseball, but you couldn't beat the Oakland A's. And part of the reason is because Weston Wilson and Christian Pache combined to go 2 for 6. And you're saying, well, that's actually not bad, Josh. No, it's not. But what makes it worse is that was the only game in the weekend that Trey Turner didn't hit. Nick Castellanos also went 0 for 4. Your outfield as a whole went 2 for 10. Pache, not a competent hitter. Weston Wilson just caught up to the major leagues. You brought March into that game on Friday. He couldn't get a base hit. You lost to the A's 6-2. You win the next day. Everything seems like it's fine. Then yesterday afternoon, in the sweltering heat, the A's hit 8 homers against you. You know what the rest of your lineup did? Outside of Trey Turner and Alec Boehm, nada, nothing. This weekend is a reason why you have to get a guy like Brent Rooker. Because it's obvious that this team is a streaky ball club. They are not the most consistent team out there. You cannot depend on this roster to go out there and consistently score runs. For every 11-5 game, there's this 6-2 loss. For every 8-6 win in Atlanta, you lose the next day 5-1. Not because the other team's pitching is elite, but because you couldn't get the job done yourself. The reason why Philly fans are exasperated at times with this team. It's the same reason why you go anywhere in the country and people get tired of their team, because you see what their potential is, and then you turn around and you say, how can you be a team with the most wins in Philly's history of the All-Star game and then lose 2 out of 3 of the A's? And if you tell me the answer is that's baseball, it's not a good enough answer. And that's why people are looking at Brent Rooker as the shiny new car in the parking lot that everybody wants, as the new girl who just transferred to the high school who everybody wants to talk to. That's who Brent Rooker is. That's also the reason why you might not get him. I hate to break the news to you folks out there, but a team like Atlanta needs Brent Rooker probably more than you do. There are teams around baseball that are struggling as much, if not more, with their offenses than you are. Brent Rooker is going to be a hot commodity. Like a lot of guys, right? You don't think a team like the Red Sox isn't going to call about Brent Rooker? You don't think a team like the Minnesota Twins isn't going to call about Brent Rooker? I mentioned the Braves. How about the Mets? How about the Brewers? I mean, even the Diamondbacks and the Padres might call, honestly. I mean, the Padres can make it work in their roster, but still, there are a lot of teams out there who are within range of the wild card, right? A team like the Red Sox is hanging on to the third place in the wild card. A team like the World is trying to fight to get into the postseason. A team like the Astros is trying to climb up that ladder. I mentioned the Braves. The Cardinals are in the playoff conversation. So are the Mets. So are the Diamondbacks. The Pirates, for goodness sake, are in the conversation. All of these teams could be more desperate than you. And this is really where the problem is going to come from Philadelphia. Someone is going to come along, and they're probably going to be more desperate than you. They're probably going to give up more prospects, more assets than you are. So I don't know if Brent Rooker is going to come to Philadelphia, because the A's may tell the Phillies, I want this. Dave Dombrowski says Brent Rooker is not worth that. And then Billy B and the A's says, but guess what? Someone's going to give it to me. And I'm going to go find that guy. And Dave Dombrowski says, you do that. Because Dave Dombrowski has shown that he is not willing to sacrifice the future of his organization to just win right here, right now. And some of you may say that's dumb, but he's a baseball guy. This is how baseball guys operate. Dombrowski has built not one, not two, not three, but 4 different organizations to get to a World Series. And he left every one of those organizations with the feeling that they did everything they could to win. Now, if you want to judge him because he was told he had to do a fire sale in Miami, if you want to judge him on the fact that he did trade some of his better prospects in Detroit, if you want to judge him on the fact that the 2018 Red Sox got, slapped on the wrist by Major League Baseball and Alex Cora for their cheating scandal, you can bring all that stuff up. The reality is that Dave Dombrowski is trying to do what's best for the organization. And on a team with Jekyll and Hyde Nick Castellanos, with the disappointing Bryson Stott, multiple weeks without JT Realmuto, your best hitter has been Trey Turner. And even that wasn't good enough yesterday, and it wasn't good enough on Friday. Trey Turner, in the last 24 games since returning from injury, has 9 homers, 23 RBIs, and 22 runs scored. And it hasn't been enough for you to beat the A's over the weekend, but it was enough for you to beat the Dodgers. And the Phillies are now the 4th team in National League history to have 62 or more wins before the All-Star break. The problem is, of the 10 teams who accomplished this in baseball history, 62 or more wins before the All-Star break, only one won a World Series. And that's Dave Dombrowski's 2018 Red Sox. So should we be concerned that overall history is on Philadelphia's side, or do we say the one time it worked, Dave Dombrowski was the man in charge? By the way, those who are wondering, of the 10 previous to the Phillies, or of the 9 teams to win 62 or more games for the Phillies, only 3 reached the World Series. who were not the Red Sox. The 1970 Reds, the 1974 Dodgers, the 1969 Orioles. All three of those teams lost. The only team that's ever won was the 2018 Red Sox. And the man in charge of that team is Dave Dombrowski. Something to think about here as we open up the game night here on 97.3 ESPN. Text board is open at 609-403-0973. George from Summers Point chimes in and says, "Hey, Josh, I wanted to ask you how you think Alec Bohm will do in the home run derby tonight. Do you have any fears that if he does really well, it may throw off his swing for the rest of the season, just like it did Bobby Abreu all those years ago?" That's from George in Summers Point. So I'm not overly concerned about Bohm because as long as he doesn't change his swing, he'll be fine. The problem with Bohm is that the complication why he doesn't hit more homers in a regular season is because he's constantly staying even with the ball. He drives the ball. He doesn't try to, uppercut the hit homers. And so during the regular season, you're facing pitchers that are trying to get you out. In the home run derby, you're facing pitchers who are trying to help you hit home runs. So the only reason why I am not overly worried is because I do think at a fundamental level, Alec Bohm is a competent enough baseball player that I don't look at him as somebody who is going to be destroyed by this. I think he's going to go out there, have fun, realize he's probably not going to win it, and just do his best and hat tip to the crowd and walk out of there. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, in terms of who I think will win tonight, I'll get to that a little bit later in the show because I got some specific thoughts on that. I know for some people out there, they roll their eyes to home run derby. To me, this is what makes sports fun. Events like tonight. Guys going out there, trying to hit a bunch of home runs, having fun, being competitive, not taking themselves too seriously. I love it. This is what makes baseball great. Jeff from Ocean City chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says the Phillies will win the World Series this year. Add anyone and everyone to get better. Well, they can't add everyone, Jeff. That's the problem. Okay? I do think that who you do need to add, though, I think it comes down to still this organization has to be honest with themselves. They need offense. Another bat for days like yesterday and Friday when your best hitters just run out of steam, when they don't have a good day at the office, when they're on a cold streak or whatever the scenario is. When you get to the postseason, championships are won sometimes by the guy you don't expect. And one of the reasons why we always point back to Dave Dombrowski and that 2018 World Series is Dombrowski made a move at the deadline that wasn't the sexiest move. It wasn't the flashiest move. It wasn't the, oh man, this is the move that changes everything. Okay? He made a move. Trust me, he did. He made a move that changed the trajectory of that season. Because the Red Sox are having a great year, like the Phillies are this year. The Red Sox were having one of those years that you're like, wow, this team is destined to go to the World Series. You knew they were going to be, making a deep run in the postseason. But Dombrowski that year knew they needed one more bat. They needed one more guy to get them over that hump. They acquired Steven Pearce. And for most people out there who are not baseball diehards, you will say, who on earth is Stephen Pierce? What do they get? What do they give up for Stephen Pierce? By the way, a right-handed outfield bat. They traded one player for the man who would go on to be World Series MVP. Pierce went on to play one more Major League season, and he was done. But for that playoff run, he was one of the most important players for the Boston Red Sox. He wasn't Mookie Betts. He wasn't one of their best players during the regular season. But when push came to shove and they needed an offensive bat, the man had 3 homers and 8 RBI in the World Series. He had another home run in the ALCS. On a team that had a bunch of studs like this Phillies team does, Dave Dombrowski said, I need one more bat. Yeah, I got Bogarts. Yeah, I got Betts. Yeah, I got JD Martinez. So I think he had 42 home runs that year. Yeah, I have all of these players, but I need one more bat. That's what I'm talking about. So again, I don't know if it's Brent Rooker, but it's going to be someone. You can't add everybody, but you're going to add somebody. And we'll see if that somebody becomes that clutch player. Remember Matt Stairs deep into the night in Los Angeles? That home run was clutch. You need a clutch player in the postseason. We'll check back at the text board coming up in a little bit. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Coming up next is Jalen Hurts turning into the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL. We'll get to that and more coming up here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio.
Three-run homer for Pete Alonso.
The 2024 Major League Baseball Home Run Derby.
Ozuna does it again. A massive shot for Gunnar Henderson. Oh, he's a swing and a line drive to deep left. It's gone.
The 2024 Major League Baseball Home Run Derby. Coverage begins tomorrow at 8 Eastern. Listen to Major League Baseball all season on 97.3 ESPN.
Your luxury BMW experience is closer than you think. Take advantage of exceptional savings at BMW of Atlantic City. Stop in and shop your favorite models, including the new BMW 2 Series, X3, and more. We're sure to have a vehicle that fits your needs. And with Acceleride, purchase your vehicle online and we'll deliver it directly to you. Looking to trade? We'll pay top dollar for your current vehicle. Experience luxury today at BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. In Egg Harbor Township, shop our complete inventory online at bmwatlanticcity.com.
It's time to roll out the red carpet for, well, new carpet. There's no better time than right now at the Home Depot, where the more you buy, the more you save. Save up to 10% on select special order carpet styles you love from brands you trust. And installation is included on qualifying purchases. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid July 11th through July 28th, 2024. Receive up to 10% off select special order carpet purchases. Minimum purchase required. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of cod Krispies. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
What's up? I'm Miles.
Hey, and I'm Jara.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Maple Pepper Bacon Sandwich is how the flavors come together. First, I taste the smoky grilled chicken, then the pepper bacon with that maple bun, added with the sweet heat and the pickles.
I'm really sold on the pickle. It meets you in the middle with the sweetness and the heat.
It's spice-tastic.
Yum-licious.
Flavoristic.
The sandwich of the summer. The Maple Pepper Bacon Sandwich.
Order the Maple Pepper Bacon Sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Powered by the all-new BetParks New Jersey Casino and Sportsbook app. BetParks.com.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Could Rooker be the missing piece? I'm Nick Earnshaw with your South Jersey Sports Center and with your 97.3 ESPN question of the day. After a monster weekend for A's outfielder and DH Brent Rooker against the Philadelphia Phillies, his name has heated up even more as a possible trade candidate. With that being said, our question of the day is, how much would you be willing to give up for Brent Rooker? Let us know by texting 609-403-0973 or use the 97.3 ESPN free mobile. Yeah, I understand he had a big weekend at Citizens Bank Park. He hit the 2 home runs on Sunday that went dead center over 450 feet, showed a lot of power, and is continuing to have a career year. I think his value is gone up maybe a touch, but I don't think they'll have to part ways with one of their top prospects like a Crawford or a Miller. So I'm willing to give up a good amount, but not those top prospects for a Brent Rooker. Once again, text in at 609-403-0973. Your forecast is next.
From playtime to showtime, Atlantic City always serves classic summer fun with a twist of cool. Visit AtlanticCityNJ.com to win an overnight getaway.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zero. Blazing hot days are sweaty and uncomfortable. Suffocatingly warm nights might be even worse. We're only dropping to 76 degrees tonight under clear skies. The heat wave continues tomorrow, high 98, mostly sunny and breezy with a chance of a spot thunderstorm. Hot and humid one more time on Wednesday, 95 with increasing clouds, a late day thunderstorm, then cooler on Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
This summer, book a charter boat off the Jersey Shore. Give your friends and family a fresh adventure, a day of ocean fishing they'll talk about for years to come. You'll be the hero of the summer. Go to marinefishing.nj.gov.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Nick Sirianni's attack with Philly last year was just not very good. I mean, they were in a situation where they kind of rolled the ball out, tried to do what they did the year before. Teams adjusted, Eagles didn't evolve, so Hurts was in a position where he just wasn't highlighted. I will point out that a lot of voters say, even though he's very good, he's never really going to be a top 5 quarterback in the eyes of a lot of evaluators. They say he's sort of in that 7 to 13 range, depending on how he does that year.
That's ESPN's Jeremy Fowler explaining why Jalen Hurts is no longer rated by NFL scouts, executives, and coaches as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Now, we should note that if you read the whole article and the full descriptions like I have on the pay side of ESPN, that the larger point is that, as you heard Jeremy Fowler say, it seems like a lot has to do with the perception of Hurts last year than it was about Hurts the quarterback. And this is such a perplexing concept because, as you heard Jeremy Fowler say, Nick Sirianni and the Eagles didn't put him in a position to be successful. One of the executives in the ESPN Plus article explained that Jalen Hurts is a quarterback who, when he has a good year, he can be a top 10 quarterback. Well, wait a minute. If we're blaming his supporting cast, if we're blaming the coaches on why he's not a top 10 quarterback, then how does it make sense to put people ahead of him who either didn't play well last year themselves or didn't play at all last year? So we're condemning Hurts for playing injured? Is that what we're doing, Jeremy Fowler?
Jalen Hurts did not look right last year. The Eagles could downplay whatever knee issues he was dealing with in season. Wasn't even really on the injury report in some cases, but they felt like he just wasn't moving the same. Couldn't do that dual threat ability that he's so good at with the offense.
So this is starting to sound like people are just finding excuses to not like Jalen Hurts anymore. And look, I understand these quarterback lists. They're all subjective. When you have 80 people voting on something, you're going to get a wide range of people's opinions and perspectives. I totally get that. But you're basically blaming everyone else and everything else and not telling me the real reason why Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback. This sounds more like circumstances than anything else. I don't understand how you're going to tell me that all these other quarterbacks I'm going to name to you are top 10 quarterbacks, but we don't critique them based on their situation, their environment. We only are doing Jalen Hurts. Who has a better team right now? Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott? We know it's Jalen Hurts. Who has better offensive weapons right now? Jalen Hurts or Jared Goff? Jalen Hurts. Aaron Rodgers or Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts. CJ Stroud, comparable. Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts. You see the message here. If we're going based off of, well, who has the better supporting cast? Who can potentially have the better year? You're telling me that Jalen Hurts is going to go out there. Let's say he goes out as an amazing season. All of a sudden now he's back in the top 10 because he just happened to have a better season. It's such a disrespectful move to judge a quarterback more so based on he didn't look good playing injured. And we're going to judge him based on the people around him and put him in a position to be successful. It's double standard. See, the problem with all these lists are people are projecting their own sensibilities onto these athletes. And I have to tell you, I agree with what Robert Griffin III said about Jalen Hurts this morning on Get Up.
His running ability is part of his ability to play quarterback.
So in some instances, these scouts and these execs are still evaluating quarterbacks based off of 10, 15 years ago when it was Peyton Manning and Tom Brady back there sitting in the pocket picking teams apart.
And the reality is that there's almost no quarterback who does that anymore. Every quarterback on this list that I'm going to mention to you is able to run around. They're able to scramble. And for some of them, running around and scrambling is a key to their success. Now, if you take Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow out of the conversation, okay, we know that both of who those guys are, okay? Both of those guys are exceptional passers. And I don't think anyone can fully argue with Burrow being number two. You have an argument, but I don't think there's a good argument. Okay? I don't think there is a argument that makes a lot of sense there, but that's just me. If you want to tell me that Lamar Jackson should be ahead of Burrow because Burrow's been injured a bunch of times and he's been a two-time MVP, I can work with that. But that's really the only other guy that I can look at on this list and say that guy should be ahead of Joe Burrow. Mahomes and Burrow are the two most elite passers in the game right now. So, and that's that. I'm not going to argue that. But the rest of the list, I have a ton of problems with. The infatuation people have with Josh Allen is getting out of hand, okay? Josh Allen is a quarterback who is phenomenally talented. But half of last season, he didn't play well. And when they fired the coordinator, he suddenly got better. When they went from Ken Dorsey to Joe Brady, everything got better, supposedly. But now you have a Bills team that unloaded basically half their starters from last year. There's no Stephon Diggs for him to throw to anymore. There is no Gabe Davis. There is no, as in years past, Cole Beasley for him to throw to. Josh Allen is rated the number 3 quarterback in the league. And you're telling me that he's going to have a top 5 quarterback season with Chase Claypool, Keon Coleman, KJ Hamler, Mac Hollins, Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakur, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling? Are you kidding me? Look, if he has an MVP year with those guys, I will never say a bad thing about Josh Allen ever again. But until that day comes, this dude has a history of turning the ball over more than anyone else in this top 10. And yet he is number 3 ahead of a 2-time MVP award winner, Lamar Jackson. Then you get Matthew Stafford at 5. I genuinely feel like that people who work in the NFL think much more highly of Stafford than the rest of the world does. I get it. He is a quarterback who makes the players around him better. That's what a lot of evaluators say about him. A lot of scouts, a lot of executives, and he does. Matthew Stafford did everything he could to win for an organization in Detroit that was incapable of getting out of their own way. That's why he could only win a Super Bowl with the Rams. But Stafford's getting older. Don't tell me that he is so much better right now than CJ Stroud and Jared Goff. And I get that Goff was the guy traded for Stafford, but Goff has now become, according to ESPN stats, for the most efficient passer in the red zone in the NFL. He is one of the best quarterbacks statistically in every category in the fourth quarter and overtime in the NFL the last 2 years. His efficiency in the red zone is no one's even close to him. Not even Mahomes, not any of these guys. And Stafford was injured most of the year like last year. So it's okay to be injured and miss the entire year like Burrow and Stafford did, but it's not okay for Jalen Hurts to play through an injury because he feels he needs to be out there for his team. We're now demeriting a guy for playing through injury, and we're rewarding guys who sat out because of injury. And let's be realistic. For as much as I am a fan of Justin Herbert's skill set, he still has to prove himself as a top 10 quarterback. If you're just going on talent alone, okay, I can work with that. But if that's the case, Jordan Love should be on this list. If we're going on talent alone, you can make the argument that Jalen Hurts could be on this list. If you're going off of efficiency like you are with Jared Goff, if you're going off of making teammates better like Matthew Stafford, if you're going off of success on the field, where's Brock Purdy on this list? CJ Stroud 7 is way too low. CJ Stroud last year did more with less than any other human being in the NFL last year. That dude made a postseason with Nico Collins as one of his top receivers. Now you're giving him Stephon Diggs. Now you're giving him Joe Mixon. Now you're giving him an improved offensive line. You're giving him legit weapons now. CJ Stroud right now has better weapons coming into this season than Justin Herbert and Matthew Stafford. So why are those two ahead of him? Aaron Rodgers, another guy who didn't play last year because of injury. I don't see anybody demeriting him off this list like they did with Hurts. Goff, I get it. He is a guy whose numbers and metrics are so wildly good, you couldn't ignore it. And then we get back to the Dak Prescott question, as we talked about last week. The whole, who's better, Dak or Hurts? Yes, Dak Prescott has the same number of passing touchdowns in his last 50 games that Patrick Mahomes does. But he's also thrown the ball 260 times more than Jalen Hurts. So am I supposed to hear and believe that Dak Prescott is just a better quarterback because he's thrown the ball more? Are the Eagles not supposed to run the ball when they have the best run block rate in the league? Am I supposed to believe that Jalen Hurts should throw the ball 200 more times just so he can have comparable numbers for this conversation? Or is winning a championship more important? Remember, all the players on this list, 3 have a championship. Mahomes, Stafford, Rodgers. Prescott has never been to a Super Bowl. Neither has Justin Herbert. Neither has Lamar Jackson. Neither has Josh Allen. Burrow and Goff lost in the Super Bowl just like Jalen Hurts did. Last week on 97.3 ESPN, Rob Motti said he would take Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott.
I'm taking Jalen because I just think he's a winner. He's won when it counts. That can run, that can take off and get some yards, make some plays. But Jalen is an elite runner with the football, and he's come a long way as a passing quarterback, whether it's in the pocket, whether it's making reads, escaping and still throwing on the run. He's come a long way. Yeah, I mean, you might want to give Dak a slight edge there, but overall, totality, quarterback position, I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts.
Overall, he will go with Jalen Hurts. Not that Jalen Hurts is good at this, but Dak is good at this. It's marginal. It's not an apples for apples comparison. Because again, one guy is throwing the ball 260 plus more times than the other guy. And in Philadelphia, how many times have you Eagle fans been screaming, run the ball? I wrote the article on 973ESPN.com about how the Eagles 3 starting offensive linemen, Mailata, Dickerson, and Johnson, are all ranked in the top 10 in their position groups by the same executives that hate on Jalen Hurts. And part of the reason why they rate Johnson and Mailata so highly is because Johnson is number 1 among all offensive linemen in run block win percentage, and Jordan Mailata is number 2 among all tackles. So if you have 2 of the best run blockers in all of football, and then Landon Dickerson is number 4 on that list. So 2 of the top 4 overall are on the Eagles offensive line. And the third guy is one of the best among his position group of tackles. And then you tell me, well, why are you running the ball so much? I want to see Hurts throw the ball more. When the Eagle fans have been screaming, run the ball forever, what do you think you're going to do to win a championship? Throw the ball 260 more times like Prescott, or run the ball? I think I'm going to lean into my strength. And as RG3 says, Hurts' ability to run is part of what makes him an elite top tier type quarterback.
Jalen Hurts' running ability makes him a top 5 quarterback potentially. He was not a top 5 quarterback last year. I agree with that. But with 2 number 1 wide receivers, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and then Dallas Goedert, I think he'll get back on track and put himself back in the trajectory of being a top 5, top 10 quarterback.
Because Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers are all quarterbacks who run. They're mobile, like Hurts is. And part of their mobility is a reason why they are elite quarterbacks. It's Mahomes' escapability that helps him be the magician that he is. Maybe if Joe Burrow was more mobile, maybe if Stafford was more mobile, maybe if Herbert was more mobile, maybe they don't get injured. I just don't understand why we are punishing Hurts for playing through the injury and rewarding the other guys for sitting out for the injury. Maybe I'm the only one, but I'm planting my flag on this hill. But I'm sure there's a bunch of people who will jump on social media, people on television shows who don't want to have real debates, real conversations, who don't want to have these questions presented to them. And they just want to diss Jalen Hurts. 80 anonymous executives. And Hurts is only an honorable mention. By the way, this is your home for Eagles football here on 97.3 ESPN, home for Eagles football in South Jersey. We are counting down the days to Eagles training camp. It is next Tuesday, and we will have you covered on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, as well as right here at Game Night with Josh Hennig, and at 97.3 ESPN.com and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. All your Eagles coverage right here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll check back at text board coming up next at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
These 3 guys are healthy in the playoffs. They have as high a ceiling as any team in the league besides Boston. I think they're the second best team in the East. It's going to be a question of whether they're healthy, what they can put around them. But the Sixers for a year have been preparing to sign a big player. They got the single best player available in Paul George, and he's a perfect fit with their team.
Wake up weekday mornings with Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman on 97.3 ESPN.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive, of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Whatever happened to Tony Horton, the guy who created the revolutionary P90X?
2017, I was knocked down. A very rare type of shingles that went straight into my brain. My body was completely wasting away. I started researching everything related to building my muscle back again. That's when I learned about the potential of HMB plus vitamin D3 and what they can do when it comes to helping build new muscle.
So Tony developed high-impact protein by Power Life.
Just add 1 scoop of high-impact protein to a glass of water or your morning smoothie and enjoy the effects of that boss molecule and factory worker combination. Reshaping your body each and every day. More energy, burn more fat, and probably drop a few pounds along the way.
High-impact protein by Power Life is a tasty once-a-day powder that comes in either whey or plant protein. Go to mypowerlife.com and use code MUSCLE to save 30%. Tony even offers a 90-day guarantee. Go to mypowerlife.com or text MUSCLE to 511-511. Text MUSCLE to 511-511 today. All individuals are unique. Your results can and will vary. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Text fees may apply.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk. Life hack. Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select a new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data, all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how happy and healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan.
Their joints are more flexible, their teeth are cleaner, and their coats shinier. And why they seem more youthful even as they age.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. I've helped countless dogs thrive with one simple concept. Your dog needs a high-meat diet similar to what their ancestors ate in the wild.
Dr. Marty created Nature's Blend using 50 years of nutritional research and experience, helping dogs make incredible turnarounds. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of Cod Krispies, their wild-caught, ultra-crunchy cod skin treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT, or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
The seafood extraordinary, the value tremendous, the sunsets on the house. It's Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant. Dine indoors or on the deck overlooking the bay. The Phillies are always on at Yuri's. Watch the game and enjoy daily food and drink specials, including all-you-can-eat crab, backed by popular demand. Yuri's is perfect for families with a kids menu and arcade. Next door to Yuri's is the Boathouse Restaurant. Two great ways to experience the Jersey Shore's best waterfront dining. Yuri's and the Boathouse at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennick on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
As promised, before we get out of here, don't forget the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Home Run Derby is tonight. All-Star Game is tomorrow night. The Home Run Derby is tonight. You hear both those games on 97.3 ESPN, and you listen to the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Picks for the Derby. Now, I have the same philosophy for the Home Run Derby that I have for majors. I never pick winners. I pick people who will finish in the top 10 in golf majors, and I pick people who will be finalists for the Home Run Derby, because the odds of you hitting that are much more likely. So, obviously, if there's a 8-man field, you pick 4 potential finalists. You are having basically the odds are in your favor, as they say in the Hunger Games, to get this. So, Pete Alonso is an obvious pick at plus 135 to make the final. Not the greatest juice odds, but there's the value there. My favorite pick for the finals is Gunnar Henderson, plus 185. And the reason why I'm going with those two men first is because the format of this year's Home Run Derby is as follows. All 8 men will have 40 pitches or 40 outs to try to hit as many homers as possible. There's no head-to-head. There's no this guy beating this guy. No, it's whoever the most home runs are after the first round among the 8 guys. Alonso and Gunnar Henderson clearly fit that criteria. Alonso is a veteran of this Home Run Derby formats. He's been in multiple formats, and he has been a winner of the Home Run Derby. Gunnar Henderson is a freakazoid of a home run hitter. So plus 135, plus 185 for Henderson and Alonso. Those are 2 of my 4 picks. My third pick, plus 270 to make the final, is Adolis Garcia. This is his home ballpark. You know he's going to have the energy of the crowd behind him coming in to this event. And if he hits a lot of home runs, he could get into a favorable matchup with someone who's maybe not used to hitting in the dimensions of that ballpark. That's my number 3 choice. Number 4 choice. Again, we're going off of the odds to make the finals, not to win the Home Run Derby, to make the finals. 2 men make the final. So we're improving our odds already. So I said Alonso, Gunnar Henderson, Adolis Garcia, plus 270. The 4th guy that I like a lot in this Home Run Derby, because a lot of the betting odds are favoring the right-handed hitters. So I'm going to go with one more right-handed hitter, and that is the Braves' Marcell Ozuna. Plus 190. He is a guy who has wild power in his swing. And the difference between guys like Ozuna and, let's say, Jose Ramirez and Alec Bohm is that Ramirez and Bohm are not natural power hitters. Ozuna is. So give me Alonso, Henderson, Ozuna, and Garcia as my favorites for the finals. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Day. Home Run Derby tonight at 8 o'clock.
Hey, South Jersey, this is Billy Schwein. Tune into The Locker Room every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. Each weekend in The Locker Room, you will get passionate sports talk from a fan's perspective, along with interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. That's every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in The Locker Room with me, Billy Schwein, on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner.
$5,000. That's the